Now let's move on to another coaching hire. The Bears hired Matt Eburflus from Indianapolis as the D coordinator. I was a little surprised because with them hiring Ryan Poles as the GM from Kansas City, I thought Eric Bieniemy was the guy. But what did you think about the hire overall?
I think that tells me a lot, because if you take a Kansas City guy and he becomes your GM and he doesn't hire Eric Bieniemy, that's telling me something. Like, I know a lot of analysts say that Eric Bieniemy is not as good as people think he is because he's not the one that's designing the plays. He's not the one really calling the plays. That Indianapolis defensive coordinator, that was a bit of a shock for me, in that I thought the number one focus of the Bears would be to develop Justin Fields.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it depends on who he tabs as his offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach, because I think that is more important than anything else that he's going to do going forward. Forget trying to contend with age-old rival Green Bay. Forget everything else. I think your number one priority is developing Justin Fields to be that franchise quarterback that you drafted him to be. So, I mean, I like him as a defensive coordinator. You never know how good a coordinator will be as a head coach until he becomes a head coach. So I won't say, I won't cast aspirations on his character just as yet. I think it all comes down who his offensive staff is going to be for me to judge his hire.
Yeah, I think I mean, I understand Eric Bieniemy isn't necessarily the offensive play caller, and Andy Reid has called most of the plays. But I feel like I don't know why teams are avoiding Bieniemy, because if I was a team, I would be very interested in hiring Bieniemy. But we'll see what happens. I mean, do you think Bieniemy will get a job after this year?
Like I figured, and this is going to sound weird, if he doesn't get a job this year, right, I'm not sure if he's ever going to get one, because you have up to 8 or 9 openings now. And I mean, this is before they are starting to fill, with Sean Payton announcing his departure from New Orleans. So with so many openings and so many people looking towards the offensive side of the football and looking young, if Eric Bieniemy does not get a job this year, I am not sure if he will ever get one. And there are some very interesting and great openings out there, because the Vikings still have a very, very, very lucrative job out there. Like, you could be losing Aaron Rodgers out of the division. You have Justin Jefferson, you have Adam Thielen, you have Dalvin Cook. That is a very attractive job opening. And I am not, as I said, like, I would, if I'm a betting man, I would say Bieniemy will get a job this year. If he doesn't, then I don't know if he will ever get one.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of it's weird how they avoid him, and I still don't understand why. Owners always want to look at Patriots assistants, because let's be honest, they never work outside of maybe Mike Vrabel, and even Brian Flores, who had some success, was still got the axe. So I don't really they go after Patriots assistants, but I mean, the track record is not good for Patriots assistants. So, and I was a little surprised too that the Bears hired Eburflus, because I thought they should, develop Justin Fields, who kind of didn't have a great rookie year at all. He really struggled. But yeah, it's a little surprising. I guess we'll see what happens, because sometimes defensive coordinators can turn out to be really good coaches. And of course, Belichick was a defensive coordinator before he got the job in New England. And then of course, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what Chicago, because I know they interviewed Jim Caldwell as well, and I thought that would have been a better hire than Eburflus. But again, time will only tell, and we'll see how good the Bears are after this year or on to next season.